Today I am back with another video, which I didn't plan on making because in reality I don't love any of you, but Rant is due, so matter of fact I'm close to 70k subs, so make yourselves useful and hit that subscribe button. So as most of you guys know, I'm a support main. I've been a support main since like Overwatch 1 season 20. My only experience with tank is really playing it in Overwatch 1 when you had a flex queue to get the priority passes. However, with the current state of Overwatch 2 and support being the most impactful, brain-dead, easy role, everyone and their mother wants to play it, so the queue times for support are just too much for me. You know, why queue DPS when you can queue support, which is DPS 2.0 with broken abilities? At this point I'm just beating a dead horse. Anyways, when I boot up a game, I actually want to play it and not spend a majority of the time sitting in a queue. I'm not going to bring up 6v6 or 5v5 that much in this video because that's not what this video is about. This video is just to tell y'all my personal experience playing tank. As a consumer, my job is to bitch and moan. It's the devs' job to figure it out. That's what they get paid for. Anyways, I just want to bring up the fact that a huge bonus that 5v5 was supposed to bring was better queue times, and it's comical to think about considering I'm waiting 7 minutes in queue for Diamond 1 games.
I was like, bro, Blizzard, look what you fucking do to me. Look what you do to me, bro. This game is fucking garbage. You think I want to get on stream and the majority of the time I'm just sitting in fucking queue because no one wants to play this dog shit ass game?
So I decided to pack my bags and take my talents over to the tank role where I get instant queues. I know some people are gonna think I'm crying because I lost a lot, but let me show y'all my ending win-loss record. I ended with 116 wins to 44 losses, and despite my good win-loss record, by no means did I have fun. So let's address the mic cock in the room. Counter swapping, the biggest adversity of the tank role. Now, I thought people would exaggerate on how often it happened. I mean, I would see TikToks where each tank would sit and spawn and keep swapping till the other gave up. But this is no exaggeration. It happened again and again repeatedly, getting games where the enemy tank would swap non-stop to counter me. I've never told so many people to kill themselves before playing tank because the amount of counter picking genuinely pissed me off. The amount of tanks that will tuck their tail in between their vagina and just hard counter pick. Look at this game where I'm going 29-0. I'm eating ass and taking names. He swaps Cesar against my diva, but I still managed to play around it. Then they go double beam, which now I'm just useless. And before I even get a chance to go to the point, this scallywag picks Malga because he sees I'm Winston. And I'm like, bro, this is just insanity. This is an automatically lost fight because what the fuck am I gonna do to Malga as Winston? I have to play safe. I can't engage, thus giving their team so much space, and they just walk right past us. It's hilarious that I had a better chance of holding second point if I just went to spawn the moment I saw he was Malga, swapped off Winston, and took a last second fight. Obviously, once I die, I swap to diva, and again, before I even get a chance to get to the point, this kid walks back to spawn to swap to Zar again. And just like that, the enemy tank player closes the obvious skill difference between us by playing like a vagina and counter swapping. We still win, but it's just insane how a game can be that close despite me going 37-3, all because I got counter picked, which closes the skill difference at the cost of no effort or skill at all. And that's my problem with this role, that the worst player can shut you down solely by countering. I'm all for countering and swapping, but there are just some matchups that are so insanely lopsided. Zarya into Diva, Malga into Winston, Hog into Ball, Diva into Monkey, Malga and Orisa into Ryan, Hog into Doom. Matchups where the enemy will outmatch you by solely being on that hero. They don't even have to have an ounce of skill. The matchup just gives them the upper hand and completely wipes out the skill difference. This is where the fun gets completely drained from this role because I want to play Rant, but I'm forced to swap in most games. The amount of times I had to swap to Hog, and I find Hog to be the most boring one-dimensional character where you just hook and shoot, hook and shoot. Not to mention, if you Hog mirror, you got to depend on your supports to go Honor or Kiri, and it's not only tank matchups. Imagine trying to play Ball and the enemy DPS counter swaps to Sombra, Kree, or Brig. Imagine trying to play Ram or Ryan and the enemy picks Bastion and Zen. When something like counter picking is so easy to do, it takes away your ability to express your skill, and that is not healthy for any game because the better player should always win in a competitive environment. A big problem I had when I was playing tank, needing to peel but needing to be your frontline at the same time. This game showcases that problem perfectly, where I try to peel for my Ana who's being dove by a ball just to have my DPS bitch at me for not walking forward and tanking.
Well, I'll never have a frontline if you're on my team, nigga. You're ass.
So what, you want me to peel for the ball or do you want me to walk forward? Choose one.
I don't want you to peel for a fucking ball. Let
so let my supports die, got it. And you're gonna deal with the ball and tracer. You're gonna deal with the ball and tracer.
Ain't that if you think you need to chase a fucking ball. Oh my god.
No, that's a little teaser for the next video. Anyways, it made me realize how much of a bitch having one tank is because you can't peel and walk forward at the same time. In this game, I go Hog to babysit my Ana, but their hit scan carry the game. But I know if I go dive to counter their hit scan, then my Ana will get farmed by the ball. It's like I can't do two things at once since I'm the only tank. Now, the solutions to these scenarios are pretty simple. A, my DPS swap to ball counters and peel my supports for me. Or B, one of my supports goes brig and completely shuts down the ball. These are solutions to this problem without bringing up, you know, the obvious solution of adding one more tank. But the problems with these solutions is that it depends on your team, and that's the whole point of this game. Counting on them to swap and make the right decisions. That's what 5v5 brings to the table, since it makes it such a counter pick heavy game. When I play support, I get a one-trick tank who dies 10 times a game because they just refuse to counter swap or refuse to swap when their character's not working. But when I play tank, I get make-a-wish supports who don't know how to make the right swaps. For example, going Kiri when I'm getting antied on Hog, to go brig when the enemy's running ball. Which, by the way, playing tank totally reminds me why I play support. Not because it's easier, but because most support players absolutely have no idea what the role is capable of. It's funny because despite being the most brain-dead role, it has the most brain-dead player base. Had this game where we were running Hog Mirror, their Hog had Ana Kiri and I had Mercy Brig. Despite this, I went 27-4. We lost the game still because I had to play around their Ana since I didn't have cleanse or an anti of my own, and my Mercy had a big ego saying it was by no means the support's fault. Yes, it is your fault. Your role has insane impact. All you gotta do is switch to Ana and chuck fucking nades at their fat ass and we would have won the game. Instead, I'm giving no support, I'm giving no utility. Meanwhile, I'm catching antis the entire game. I gotta play safe to not get hooked. So my supports were constantly making me play at a disadvantage. The amount of games where I had Mercy Lifeweaver, Mercy Zen, Mercy Lucio, Lucio Zen, Brig Lucio, it just reminds me why I play support myself, because if I want something done, god damn it, I gotta do it myself because I cannot depend on these motherfucking support players. Anyways, sorry, I got a little off track, but you see what I mean. When you heavily depend on your teammates in this game and expecting your team to swap in Overwatch 2? Forget about it. Now, I promise I'm not trying to make this a 6v6 versus a 5v5 video, but I can't help but point out that these problems are just caused by 5v5. One thing I did not expect when I played tank is to feel the pressure of being the only tank on your team, especially since your fat ass has to be in the front lines and you're put under a microscope by your team. It literally feels like your entire team takes a mental note of you, and it makes sense, again, considering you're the only fat ass tank on your team. It takes about 2 months of grinding support to make a toxic video. It took me about 2 weeks of grinding tank to have enough content for a toxic video, and it kind of adds to the horrible experience of playing tank knowing that you're gonna get blamed often even if you're not the problem. I don't have anxiety, I don't have any disabilities, which I'm sure it's pretty surprising to a lot of you people. The only disability I got is disability to make money. But I'll be lying if I said I didn't feel the pressure of being the only tank on your team, especially once I got to the higher lobbies like GM5, GM4. I couldn't imagine what it's like being like a girl playing Diva. You know, Diva is probably the only character she knows and she really wants to play Diva, but the enemy counter picks a Czar, and now she's under the pressure of having to play another tank that she probably doesn't know how to because the enemy counter picked a Czar. I know a lot of ball players probably lose a lot on ball, not because he's a bad character or because you're bad at him, but solely because being on ball will tilt your team. If the enemy is counter picking you and you still do good and play around them, you'll still have a high chance of your team bitching at you for playing your tank into a hard counter. What better way to end a video depicting the biggest problem with Overwatch 2 than reading reviews? I would rather try to beat Dark Souls blindfolded using a Guitar Hero controller with nothing but my balls and play this. Blizzard broke into my house and shot me 7 times. Overwatch porn animators put in more effort than the actual developers, some guy on Steam. Well, that guy on Steam is fairly on point. The Krusty Krab and the Krusty Krab 2 had more of a difference than Overwatch and Overwatch 2. Yeah, and the little difference it does have is for the worst. No PvE, 3 years for nothing. Yep, and 5v5ers say 6v6 didn't work because it was a format issue, and it totally wasn't the fact that we didn't get updates for like 3 years. It wasn't the fact that we got one balance patch like every 6 months. As part about the game, the uninstall button. Game worse than Hitler's art career, bro. What this game makes me want to OD2, bro. This is crazy. This guy says it was worse than his chemotherapy, but he rated it 5 stars. This game made me want to throw beer bottles at newborn children. My autistic brother wanted me to play, so I bought a game that doesn't work. It's more autistic than my brother. I would have more fun putting peanut butter on my toes and let him lick it. Still beats the games my uncle used to make me play. Goodbye, friends. I'll miss you. You weren't perfect and you weren't balanced. You weren't fair and you weren't easy. But you were the type I could spend hours on without getting bored, and you were beautiful, and you were mine. I'll miss you, and I'll miss the toxic preteen generation you gathered, raised, and called a community. RIP Overwatch 1 2016 to 2022.